Hi, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Grace, and we're going to show you how to remove and replace an alternator.
Alright, first you're going to want to pop your hood, like that. This one stays, might be a little bar you want to put up there. You should remove any kind of covers or anything. We've already done that. And then you're going to look around, you're going to locate your alternator. Your alternator is going to be connected to a belt here, and it's going to have some little coil looking things, and there's going to be a fan in there. I don't know if you can really see it, but this is your alternator. Before you start, you have to take your belt off. So your belt's right here. It should have a tensioner. This one just goes like that. You pull that back, you loosen your belt, you just kind of wiggle it off, and then...
So first we need to unhook the negative cable on the battery. So we'll put the ratchet on here. Undo that. Take it off. And then this comes off.
Alright, so when you're ready to take it off, you want to start unplugging everything. So anything that's connected, you want to get off. So we got a bolt right here connecting a little wire going to the battery. We got our little electrical things, and then we're going to want to go after the tensioner because that's going to be in our way later, so we want to get it off now. Alright, so we got our electrical stuff off, so we're going to go after our tensioner. These ones we already unscrewed a little bit, so I can just use my fingers to go after that. We got 3, and we just want to get them all out, and then we're going to get the tensioner out of the way.
Bolts out of the tensioner, so we can just take it out now, and we'll put it aside and start taking the bolts out of the alternator.
Alright, now that our tensioner is out of the way, we can go after the 2 main bolts holding the alternator on. We got one here, and we got one down here. So we're just going to unscrew those. We got to get down here and get... Well, I'm just going to screw them out a little bit. Right, now that we got our bolts out, we want to take the actual alternator out. So usually, it's kind of stuck in there, so we got a little pry bar here, just to kind of go right in this gap, and if you just kind of push, it should just come right out like it is now.
So we got our alternator out, so we're ready to put the new one back in.
Alright, now that we got our new alternator, we got to line it up. This is usually a pretty tricky task, so we like to start on the bottom. So if you just kind of push that in, and then you can go to the top and get it lined up, and then you just push it down, and it should slide right into place.
Now that we got the alternator lined up again, we're going to put the bolt in, screw it in, and get the bottom one in, and start screwing it in. And then we can tighten it with the ratchet. So we got the main bolts on the alternator back on, so now we're putting the tensioner back on, and there's 3 bolts here we have to just screw in so we can start it by hand, and then go tighten it up with a ratchet.
Okay, the last thing you need to do is put your belt back on. It's a 2-person job because you're going to need somebody to pull the tensioner back like so you can get your belt on. So I'm just going to hold it. This car is pretty easy to hold. Grace is going to put the belt back on. Alright, before you're finished, you got to rehook your battery. We're on the negative side. We're getting this back on. We're just going to tighten this down.
So now we have the alternator back on. We put the belts back on, and the tensioner back on, and we plugged everything back in, so we're good to go.